Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Renu. We are on on a very interesting note over here. For those who have confusion about the PCC, I will be covering towards the very end in detail. So stay tuned towards the end. And this is a rejection case. I got hold of it. With that, I would also be covering the same example, what exactly has happened a couple of weeks ago, where the applicant has raised the form, like raised the web form again, and he was able to get good response from IRCC. So you don't need to worry about, and also the reasons I will be covering. So now let's quickly dive into our rejection case. This applicant has applied under international graduate stream and was able to raise the web form before receipt of AOR regarding his transcripts. Now he presumed that since he has already submitted the transcripts before the receipt of AOR, it's not required to be resubmitted. Eventually, this candidate has got the AOR and did not submit the transcript, again with the same assumption. Now, when you receive the AOR, it means that the visa officer has been allotted for your case, and now he is going to start assessing your application. The same thing has happened, and since the web form was raised before the receipt of AOR, the rejection has happened under his case. Now, the main thing what exactly candidate was supposed to do is he was supposed to submit the transcript through web form or by raising the web form after the receipt of AOR. As per IRCC guidelines, you know, even if you submit any document before the receipt of AOR, it will not be accepted. It's clearly mentioned on to a cic.gc.ca website that IRCC will not accept any unsolicited document unless and until it's asked for. So this was one of the flaw. However, there have been cases, as I said, that each and every visa officer are different. So visa officer might have overseen that thing that he did not see the transcript copy which was actually submitted before AOR. So for those who are in the same situation, I would recommend please submit the documents after the receipt of AOR, and in case if you have already done that, redo it immediately once you receive the ADR or any confirmation from IRCC. Now the next step under this case has to be this candidate needs to raise a web form and with the supporting documents. Let me quickly give you an example of one rejected application that got a successful response from IRCC. So if you see here, this candidate applied on May 6th at 1:20 p.m. and the same went in his case, that he got the rejection with the reason that he is not graduate. However, the reason was not valid, and candidate actually fought back. He raised the web form with supporting documents, with explanation letter of his study program, and it got approved. And then there was a biometric request from visa officer, and this was not immediately. Like when he raised the web form, it didn't happen immediately. It took him to get 24 days from the date of request. Now, let me remind you that the rejection case, what I was talking about, in this case, the candidate has already received the AOR. So, yeah. Moving on to another timeline is for international graduate with one inland dependent. Application time is 1:07 p.m. Eastern time. The candidate has got the AOR on September 17th, and then there was one requirement for PCC, and then of course the MM5406 form, which is very much common in these days. Majority of you would get the ADR for PCC, and that's the reason I'm going to talk a little more in detail about police clearance certificate towards the very end in this video. So both principal applicant and spouse got the PR card. That was on December 4th. ECOPR was received on November 16th. So it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks time. So yeah, we can just assume this. In this case, if you see here that both principal applicant and spouse portal were approved, and they got the PR card. But let me remind you that both of them were actually getting separate email regarding the progress of their application after November 16th, like after the ECOPR. So, all right. Another timeline is for Sneha. Congratulations, Sneha. She has applied on July 19th at 4 p.m. So this is interesting, and she was able to get the AOR on November 23rd. Was able to link up the application the very next day, and then December 3rd was a magical day. COPR was received. So if you see here, till November 21st, no activity was happening in her case, and look at the speed. Within 2 weeks time period, she was able to get through the stage of COPR. And that's again a July 19th case for healthcare stream. Another healthcare stream case here applied again August 11th. Real good response for healthcare category and got the AOR. I'm not just waiting for the PR and ADR, so it could be anytime soon. This is another timeline under IG stream with inland spouse, and this is of 3:09 p.m. Eastern time. Outland spousal cases does take little more time. As I said, that there would be more requirements for PCC, medicals, biometrics, and whatnot. All right, so this applicant has applied and got the AOR on November 14th. Then there was an ADR for IMM 5669 form for spouse. Now, got the portal request for both principal applicant and spouse. In this case, principal applicant actually lost her job on May 5th, and May 6th was a day when she actually had to apply for the application. She got a new job and in the warehouse, and this is of IG stream, so NOC was really not a question. And then she raised the web form also with a job letter and pay stubs and called IRCC to confirm the receipt. All was set and done. So this is interesting case out here. All right, so this is another stream B non-essential. The top one, if you see, July 16th, and this was 3:25 p.m. Pacific time zone and got the AOR on December 4th. The bottom streamline is again healthcare, August. I must say that healthcare is going to be really rocking, and they're like majority of August cases are getting through there. So they got the AOR on December 1st. Portal confirmation was done on December 3rd. Now just the next step over here. Moving on to another timeline for international graduate, May 6th at 5:02 p.m. Interesting, right? And it just not able to get the AOR, but also able to get the ADR for police clearance certificate. Now, applicant has already submitted the PCC with its validity at the time of application, so it has been asked again. So yeah, this could also happen. In this case, the applicant has to submit the old PCC in case if it's still valid, or even if it's not, then of course he has to apply for the new one, because it depends upon the kind of PCC he has submitted. Was it an expired one or the fresh one? And I'll be covering towards the end the detail how to go about it. This is the timeline of Nehil. The same case I've discussed almost a month ago, and now he got the ECOPR. So just wanted to let you know the time-taking process from the stage, from ghost update or portal credential to ECOPR. Candidate has applied on May 27th, healthcare stream 8:55 p.m. Eastern time. AOR was received and everything was done. And 6th December, he was able to get the ECOPR. There were a couple of requirements from IRCC: proof of income, NOA, and T4 forms. If you've already submitted, well and good. If you've not, please do that after the receipt of AOR to avoid the situation of any rejection. This is another timeline for single applicant, June 24th Eastern time. Now we are actually touching August, so this is equally good. This candidate was able to link up the application November 15th, and PR portal was done, and that's how today he was able to get the ECOPR December 6th. All right. So another international graduate timeline, May 6th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time zone, got the AOR on October 1st, portal credentials December 1st, and today itself ECOPR was received. So this is another beautiful news out here. Moving on to another timeline, it's 4:38 p.m. Eastern time zone, May 6th. Link up the application on November 19th, and this candidate was able to get the ADR. So same request from IRCC for police clearance certificate or IMM 5669 form. So majority of the time this would be the main requirement unless and until there is some part is missing from your application. Now in this case again, no AOR, and as on December 6th, IRCC is still reviewing the document. So this could be another scenario that can happen with any of you. If you see here that ADR was received, ADR receipt means that the acknowledgement from IRCC that it was received by them on November 22nd, and there is no AOR yet. Another timeline is for international graduate, May 6th at 4:43 p.m. Eastern time zone. And in this case, the candidate got the AOR and was able to link up the application on November 19th. There was an ADR for divorce certificate, so he has submitted in time, and then it was a submission of LOA, like no letter of explanation, and then the PR confirmation portal was received day before. That was on December 4th. So this is all about the timelines. Now let's quickly dive into our main query about PCC. Now, I would highly recommend you to please submit the document when it comes to PCC within its valid time period. And this is the same information I've got from cic.gc.ca website. Let's read in between, like read through it. So get the police clearance certificate you need. You must include police certificates when you apply for permanent residence. IRCC online system will ask for a police certificate for you and your family members who are 18 years or older. And every country you stayed in during the last 10 years or for 6 months or more in a row, you need to have the PCC. You do not need to give the police certificates for any period of time before you were 18 years old or for the time spent in Canada. After you apply, an officer may ask for additional police certificates from any time in your life since you were 18 years old. Now, all you have to do is make sure that wherever you have stayed for more than 6 months time period, please submit the PCC, and it has to be within its valid time period. If IRCC is asking you to submit the PCC today, please make sure that it has to be valid. You're not supposed to submit the expired PCC. Even if you have submitted it before, you have to redo it, because for some reason IRCC is asking you to redo it. If in case if you have submitted at the time of application, I suppose that you're not supposed to, you're not likely to resubmit it again unless and until it's asked by IRCC. As a thumb rule, it's clearly mentioned that here also the police certificate must be scanned copies of the original certificates in color. Certified true copies or unauthorized copies won't be accepted and will result in your application being rejected. If you need a request letter, like some of the countries, they do need a request letter from IRCC asking for that police certificate. So you have to upload a document in the police certificate field in the document checklist that says that I'm applying from a country that requires an official request letter from IRCC to get a police certificate. This is not applicable for India, because in India you don't have to go through it. But there are certain countries, maybe like China, or there are a few more countries. So you have to provide the letter to them so that you are in the process. Now, I'll cover one more thing here. IRCC will review your application. If it's otherwise complete, IRCC will send you more information how to get a police certificate. Now, there's one more thing. For any other country, the police certificate must be issued after the last time you stayed there for 6 months or more in a row. Now, for say, you might have stayed like 5 years ago in Dubai, or maybe in China or in Hong Kong. So, some countries put expiry dates on their police certificates. Like in India, it's 6 months time period. So if you have a police certificate that is expired, include it. IRCC will accept it if it was issued after the last time you stayed there for 6 months or more in a row. It is not for the country where you currently live. An officer may ask for a new one later on. Okay, so you please submit the expired copy also, but try to get the new one if you can. Now, if you do not have all the police certificates by 60 days deadline, you have an option to prove you applied for the police certificate with a letter of explanation and proof that shows that you made best of your effort to get a police certificate. So this is applicable even for those who are applying for India. For say if you have already submitted the request for PCC, so just send us tracking number or the confirmation receipt or the payment receipt or the delivery notice of that along with the old PCC copy, even if that is expired. I hope that makes sense. So this was all the query about the PCC, and I hope that makes sense. Even if you have any question, you can always write back to me. For those who have more questions, you can always go under my channel details and send your comments, and do share your timelines so that it could reach to the wider audience. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do that, and if it makes sense to you, do like it. Till then, take care and stay safe, guys. Bye.